Nice short little topic for tonight. We are finished coastal, what's it called, erosion. So we're now going to move on to coastal transportation. This is page 10 in your booklets. And like I say, this is short and sweet and basically a revision of something that you've done at junior cert. So just to recap, coastal processes, erosion, transportation and deposition. So we've already done erosion. You've done the features of erosion, cliffs, bays and headlands. They're the two you need to know in detail. You should all have done your cliffs essay by now, and you have done all of the short questions on erosion and should have self-corrected those. If you haven't got these things done yet, go back and do them before moving on to transportation. Okay, so coastal transportation basically means the movement of material by the waves. We've already talked about attrition, and attrition is the process by which pebbles and other sediment are ground down to smaller size and made lighter. And when they're made lighter like this, they can be carried in and out by the waves. So this basically attrition, the process of attrition, results in lighter, smaller particles that the waves can bring in the swash and bring back out in the backwash. Any material that's carried by the sea is referred to as the load, and the load can be transported in the following ways: up and down the shore by the action of swash and backwash, out to sea by undertow. We're not going to be too concerned about that, but basically undertow. Do you know when you're standing at the edge of the beach, down where the waves are coming in and out, and if you stand there long enough and your feet kind of sink into the sand? Okay, so we're kind of standing in the water now, if you can picture this, and obviously you have your socks and shoes off, because it would be really weird if you were standing at the edge of the sea in your socks and shoes, letting the water lap over your feet. Okay, undertow is when you're standing where the waves are breaking and you kind of feel like you're a little bit of a suction when the wave goes back out, like it's pulling you back out. That's the undertow. And I spent a long time talking about it, and we don't really, not that concerned about it. And then the last thing, the way they're transported, is along the coast. So here the material goes up and down, here the material goes up and down, but here it goes along the coast. So if this is the coastline here, it's transported along it. If this is the coastline here, the material just goes up and back. If this is the coastline here, the material goes up and back. Okay, so longshore drift can actually transport material from one part of the coast to another part of the coast, and that's what we're going to be talking about now. Right, I'm going to play this clip, and I'm probably going to talk over it, but so be it. This has all happened to us, by the way. So, do you remember when you were younger and you're at the beach, and your mum and dad wanted a bit of time for themselves to read their books or whatever it was they were doing, and they said, just go off and play? And you go off for a swim, and you're having a grand old time splashing around, playing with your beach ball, or whatever it is you're doing in the water, and all of a sudden you get out. Sorry, that's my phone. You get out and you're like 7 years old. You can't see your parents anymore. You can't see the patch where they were sitting, and you're starting to sweat because you're literally like a kilometre down the coastline from where you started, even though you didn't feel it. This is because of Longshore Drift. But hopefully you were all reunited with your families at the end. Right, here's a little clip showing you this. I don't know these people, by the way. Longshore Drift. There it is. A boy and his dad. Right. So they're going to say, let me turn these down. They're going to stay in the same position, but they've thrown the ball in. And they're just going to have a look at where the ball ends up at the end of it. So, already the ball has moved to here. The swash, what you want to see is that the swash is bringing it up at an angle. Here we go. Go on, swash. And already and the backwash brings us straight back out to sea under the influence of gravity. So already in just a few seconds passing, you can see that the ball has moved meters away from where it started. So swash, bringing it in. Backwash, whoop, got bumped by another wave. Swash, it's not getting much of a chance to go back out again. But basically that ball is being transported along the coastline, and eventually it will end up kilometres down the coast because of the action of swash and backwash. And you've all seen those kind of crazy people who are chasing their lilos in the sea, but it just keeps going further and further away. Great entertainment. Right, so that is Longshore Drift. So let's just go through the process. Basically, it is the name of the process that transports material along the coast. So by along the coast, we mean along the coast. When the wave approaches the shore, okay, the direction it approaches at is controlled by the prevailing winds. Now, the prevailing wind, a definition of that, are just the dominant winds that blow over an area. So in Ireland, our prevailing winds are southwesterly because 90% of the time the wind is blowing from the southwest. But look, they're not always southwesterly on any given day. So really what I want you to get is that the wave direction depends on the wind direction. So in this case here, the wind is blowing in this direction. So the swash will also go, oh jeepers, I don't know why that's happening, in that direction. Swash will go in that direction. And as that swash is carrying material, it brings the material up in that direction as well. So the direction that the material will move along the coast is determined by the wind direction. The waves will blow, the wind will blow the waves on the shore at an angle, and when the wave breaks, the swash will go up the shore at an angle. Now this is referred to as the wave breaking obliquely. So oblique is a type of angle. I think you might have come across that in maths. So if the waves are breaking at an angle, it's referred to as the wave approaching the shore obliquely, and you need to know that. The swash then will move the material obliquely, so i.e. at an angle in the same direction that the wave is breaking. The backwash will pull the material in a straight line back out to sea again, because the backwash is not controlled by the wind direction. That is just controlled by the force of gravity. So this continued movement of waves breaking obliquely, swash carrying material obliquely or at an angle, backwash carrying it straight back down to sea. This creates a zigzag pattern, and you can see it here, by which material is moved along the coast. So one piece of sediment can be moved up and down, up and down, up and down along the coast. And if you think about the amount of material that those waves are carrying, so that's thousands of sediments that are being moved along the coast on a daily basis. This video clip here, so I want you to go to page 11 of your notes, and I'm going to post a picture of questions that I want you to answer on this. So if you just bear with me a sec. Okay, so just pause the video here, go to the Facebook page, have a look at the questions and write the answers at the bottom of page 11. In fact, what might be best is that you just write the questions out first, then transfer the answers onto page 11. So I'm not going to talk over this video, I'll let the lady do the talking. Will it let me play it though? Move this yoke. Alright, go. Oh, here we go. I'll turn it up.
Fourth Beach, just north of Aberystwyth, is about 2 kilometres long. The sand is on the lower part of the beach, and big waves throw the pebbles up to the top of the beach. But how does it all get here in the first place? The answer is Longshore Drift. The process depends on waves hitting the beach at an angle, as they do along much of this coast. Let's concentrate on just a few particles.
Watch this.
The particles are washed up on the beach by the waves, which, driven by the prevailing wind, hit the beach at an angle. As the water runs back, it pulls the particles straight back into the sea, under the force of gravity. The next wave moves the particles a little bit further up the beach, and so on. The process is known as longshore drift. Even in small waves, you can actually see sand particles in the water. This movement of material means that over time, beaches can change their shape and sometimes disappear completely.
That's why people build these groins. These wooden partitions trap material on the beach and prevent it from being carried away.
At Borth, nearly 60 groins have been built to ensure the beach isn't taken away by Longshore Drift, but they don't stop the movement of material completely. Inevitably, pebbles and sand get swept over or round the groin and continue their journey.
Right, there we go. She's much more professional at these video voiceovers than I am. I might try speaking like that. 2 kilometres north of Bournemouth Beach. No, I can't do it. I'm sorry, my phone has gone mad. Okay, so Longshore Drift. Now this isn't the diagram that you're doing, but just to give you an idea. So this is the sea. This is the beach. This is the wind direction. So when the wave breaks, it breaks obliquely. Okay. Oh, why did that happen? When the wave breaks, it breaks obliquely. And it carries sediment up the shore in the swash. So the swash is going up here. The backwash is going straight back down. Swash, backwash. So all the sediment that's here gets brought up, gets brought back, gets brought up, gets brought back. And eventually, ultimately, that sediment is moved down the coast. And this is the overall direction of Longshore Drift. This here, what a work of art, is going to be your diagram that you are drawing onto page 10 of your booklet. Yeah, just pause it. I'm not going to post it separately, so just pause the video and draw that in. It's lovely. And then your homework on this will be page 11. Explain in your own words what Longshore Drift is and how it works. So ideally what I want you to do with that is to read through the notes, to watch this video, and then without any additional notes to explain in your own words what Longshore Drift is and how it works. And I will ask you to send that to me, but I will post instructions on the page. And that is us, yeah, because I'm not going to move on to deposition. Alright, you're done for tonight. Talk to you soon.